The Miami Dolphins are staring at a critical offseason decision, one that could shape the entire defense for years to come. The secondary, once a position of strength, now has glaring holes. Jalen Ramsey remains the cornerstone, the elite, lockdown cornerback who can erase an opponent's top wide receiver. But beyond him, uncertainty. The Dolphins cut Kendall Fuller, leaving a massive void opposite Ramsey. Kader Kohou, an undrafted success story, received a right of first refusal tender, but his future in Miami isn't set in stone. He's shown flashes of being a solid contributor, but is he a full-time outside corner? That's still up for debate. Then there's the rest of the depth chart. Storm Duck, Ethan Bonner, and Cam Smith are all under contract, but expecting any of them to step up and become immediate starters is a long shot. Cam Smith, a second-round pick in 2023, barely saw the field as a rookie. Maybe he takes a leap in year 2, but there's no guarantee. And the Dolphins don't have time to wait and see. The AFC is loaded with elite quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence. Every single one of them capable of picking apart a weak secondary. If Miami wants to be a true contender, they can't go into the season with question marks at such a crucial position. They need another starting caliber cornerback. And with limited draft capital, free agency is the most logical path. That brings us to Asante Samuel Jr. There's a risk. There always is when a player hits the open market. The biggest knock against Samuel Jr. is injuries. Last season, he played just 4 games due to a shoulder injury, suffered outside of practice. For a team like Miami, which dealt with brutal injuries across the secondary last year, that's something they have to take into account. Availability matters. If a player can't stay on the field, it doesn't matter how talented he is. But it would be a mistake to label him as injury-prone. Before last season, he played over 1,000 snaps in both 2022 and 2023. That's not what an injury-prone player looks like. He was a full-time starter, logging heavy workloads and making an impact. A single injury-plagued season shouldn't erase everything he's done up to this point. And what he's done is impressive. Over the 2022 and 2023 seasons, he recorded 7 interceptions and 22 pass breakups. That's the kind of production Miami needs. The Dolphins need playmakers in the secondary. Jalen Ramsey is elite, but teams will test the other side of the field. If that side is a liability, opposing quarterbacks will attack it over and over again. Samuel Jr. is the kind of corner who can make them pay for those decisions. Quarterbacks had a passer rating of just 81 when targeting him in 2022. Even in 2023, when that number rose to 98, he still proved capable of disrupting passing lanes and making life difficult for receivers. He has the instincts to jump routes, the ball skills to create turnovers, and the confidence to go one-on-one with top receivers. He's not afraid of the moment. That's what Miami needs. A defense can't just survive in today's NFL. It has to dictate terms. It has to force mistakes. Samuel Jr. brings that kind of energy to the field. Beyond the stats, there's something else that makes him a great fit for the Dolphins: his familiarity with the defensive scheme. Last season, he played under defensive coordinator Jesse Minter, who comes from the same coaching tree as Anthony Weaver, Miami's new DC. That's a big deal. Learning a new defensive system takes time. It's why even talented players sometimes struggle when they change teams. The adjustments can be overwhelming, but for Samuel Jr., those growing pains would be minimal. He'd already have a grasp of the concepts Miami wants to run. That means he could step in and contribute immediately, without needing half a season to get comfortable. And then there's his age. He's only 25. This isn't a veteran in his 30s looking for one last payday. This is a player entering his prime. If the Dolphins sign him, they're not just getting a short-term fix. They're getting a potential long-term solution. A player who, if he stays healthy, could lock down a starting role for the next 4 or 5 years. Of course, none of this comes cheap. Samuel Jr. is projected to land a contract in the range of 4 years, $48 million, roughly $11.5 million per season. That's not small money, but that's the going rate for a quality starting cornerback. If Miami wants talent, they'll have to pay for it. That's the reality of the situation. There's no perfect answer in free agency. Every option comes with some level of risk. The Dolphins could take a different approach, targeting a veteran like DJ Reed, a consistent performer with the Jets who doesn't have the same playmaking upside but offers reliability. Or they could go after a player like Charvarius Ward, who has excelled in multiple schemes and brings a mix of experience and versatility.